Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican and then the Socialist. So glad to have you here. Mary Brockman in the chat room live from the nation's capital this evening. We are not ashamed. Certainly are not ashamed. I know some of you all are watching us via Ustream live and looking at this wonderful orange outfit. It looks like I'm going hunting tonight. There you go. And I kind of am going hunting. Gonna find me a rascally rabbit. No. Actually, hunting for greater success. This is a big night. Do you want to look like a pumpkin on TV? I gotta love you, Mary. Mary Brockman's in our chat room. You all know Mary. She's my bouncer in chief. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed. I like this outfit. My wife let me wear it tonight. She maybe was shaking her head most of the time, but you know. But as I would say, this is a very big night. This is a night where we formally announce that the Exceptional Conservative Network will be going to satellite TV in July. John T.A. Scott, who is the president of EnitLive.tv, and Christopher Arps of MoveOnUp.org will be in the hizzy in just a few. We will be talking with them on this very special eve. We wanted to make sure that you were a major part of it. So glad to have in the chat room tonight Ron Edwards, great to have you, sir. Deborah Blair Frazier's in there, my assistant. Claudia Cheek, lovely as ever. So glad to hear you. I don't know why you hear echo. Hopefully it goes away. Hopefully it goes. I like the jazz music. There we go. I gotta let that go because we gotta move on. Listen, tonight got major announcements throughout the show. I want to thank also Shannon Wright and Michael Wright for inviting us into their lives over the weekend. They invited us to the 2017 Maryland GOP Spring Convention in Ocean City. And I want you to know something. This is why Democrats need to be afraid. There were more people from Baltimore City at this event than there were from even Baltimore County or the rest of Maryland. Baltimore City had more Republicans at this event. Just saying, people, y'all better watch out. Maryland might go red, and I want you to be there for that. Yes, we are preparing to go to satellite, which is going to require a little bit more work, a little bit more effort. You got to look pretty all the time because we'll be on TV. Hopefully the practice of being on Ustream was a good practice, but and we'll be talking with Chris Arps and John T.A. Scott in just a few. And so glad to have you all here. Listen, you all know what we do. We ask that you take off those lovely hats that you wore, especially the orange ones. There you go. And we ask that your new wardrobe. See, Mary, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I like the way you think, Mary. You know what I'm saying? Quite frankly, we let the kids lead us in the praise of the Pledge of Allegiance. Kids, I want you, for those who follow along, just cross the border. What you do is you put your right hand over your heart. You see that big flag over there at live stream, or the little flag behind me over here at Ustream, or for those who are listening to us on SHR Media or Red Nation Rising at 2 a.m. on the Liberty Channel, get your own flag. Let us pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Let's go.
Thank you, parents. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Woo! There we go, babies. Thank you so much. Amen. Amen. Oh my goodness. We're honored to have the beautiful, the vivacious Pastor Shannon Wright amongst us in the chat room. You know it's a special night when Shannon Wright is in the chat roll. You know it's got to be special. Ladies and gentlemen, let us get the Wonder Twins to activate here. Get them online with us. We're going to do it. There you go.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com.
Well,
Please
thank
enter
you.
your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
Okay, there we go. They got a freebie.
Access code accepted. There is one other participant in the conference.
Good
Please
evening.
announce yourself.
Good evening. This is Ken McClinton. You are live on the Exceptional Conservative Show out of Washington, D.C. Whom do we have with us in our green room?
In the green room is Chris Arps.
Christopher Arps, it is a great pleasure. The president and CEO of MoveOnUpToday.tv, MoveOnUp.org, and I believe that John T.A. Scott, president and CEO of EnitLive.tv, has just joined us as well. Is that true?
That is very true. How's it going tonight?
Great, absolutely wonderful. Listen, I just wanted to thank you all so much for taking time out of your very hectic and busy schedules, especially Chris, because he's just so busy. He doesn't have time for people anymore. Yeah, I think he even took. I think he took a limo to the call tonight. So.
What did you do?
So basically, this is a very special night. I want to begin it with introductions of you two gentlemen. And at about 18 minutes after the hour, we'll take a break. When we come back after about a 2-second break, we'll be back and we'll talk for the rest of the evening about Enit Live, about MoveOnUpToday.tv. But first and foremost, just introductions to you. I found out in preparing for tonight, because I'm a heavy researcher. I do a lot of work. Yeah, I spent all about 15 minutes preparing for my show. Apparently, John Scott, the president and CEO of EnitLive.tv, happens to also be a racquetball enthusiast. Am I correct in that regard?
Well, all I have to say about that is evidently you two have been working with the Russians and hacked my email.
Apparently, and we do have photographs of you doing interviews yeah, I do. Listen, I do crazy research for my program, and I just wanted to find out from you, why, John? Why racquetball?
Well, the true story of that is I played high school football, and the gym that we went to on the racquetball courts, and we used to cross-train for footwork drills on the racquetball courts. And halfway through my freshman year, I broke my kneecap in half, and I was not able to play football anymore. And I just happened to be there and really enjoy that sport, and just started playing that all through the rest of high school. I was in the Junior Olympics. I actually turned professional, if you can believe that. There's such a thing as professional racquetball, and turned pro in early 2000, and played for several years before becoming the announcer and play-by-play person for the pro racquetball team.
Wow. Well, it's good to see that there's a career after football. For everyone in the NFL, just want to let you know, there is life after football. Get into racquetball. But congratulations to you on all of your work in terms of putting Enit Live TV together. Also, Christopher Arps, you know that the reason why we have you on tonight is not because of you, but because of Becky. But we're going to give you a few moments.
That's how I always tell her jokingly, if she's listening. That's part of the reason that I keep her around. Keep her around. Everyone likes her.
We love ourselves some Becky. Chris, what is MoveOnUp.org? What is that all about?
Well, MoveOnUp.org is an organization that was started right after Barack Obama was elected president and inaugurated. And it was an organization that was looking to not what was traditionally done in outreach, trying to convert Democrats, black Democrats, and Republicans, but was out there trying to find the close to 1 million African Americans voted for John McCain over the first black president. And so our main mission was to be an organization of resource to try and find those African Americans that did vote Republican, voted for Bush, those that were on the fence, were thinking about voting Republican, that were like some of the values, and those who were, exploring, those who were looking at other alternatives. And so we built that organization, MoveOnUp.org, and one of the events that we held here in St. Louis, DC in St. Louis, was a conference that we held where we first met Ken. You were here, wonderful bride. It was a weekend where we had conference, we had speakers, we had workshops, we had Scott Parker was our evening keynote speaker. We had Andrew Breitbart, the late Andrew Breitbart was our afternoon speaker. I think Ken, you did a workshop.
Yeah.
But it was just a wonderful gathering of African American custodians from about 7 or 8 states. It came as far as Washington, D.C. and New York, Texas, Florida, and other parts of the country to gather. And so, we've done a good job of getting MoveOnUp out there and finding black conservatives in every different area of the country. We are out there. We're just, people are in the closet, and a lot of them don't want to be too vocal because they don't want to occupy. It's one of the missions of MoveOnUp.org that we can have a viable organization that people know of, that it will encourage them to come out of the closet today and inspire their beliefs to bring others with them. One last thing, the Republican Party is a terrible brand in our community. It's been damaged over years of neglect and abuse. And so I feel that the people that we find that are conservative, that are credible in their community, such as you can, are the type of people that the party should shift their paradigm to that type of outreach, finding those with credibility to take this service message into the community, which I think the community is open to do that.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we're doing here tonight is to talk about Enet Live and a concept we put together called MoveOnUp.TV, where we wanted to take all of your hosts and other programming to show that there are black people out there and black people thought, and basically broadcast over the internet, like a TV station, some of the vast radio programs, internet radio, and terrestrial programs that are around the country. That's the long-winded answer to what you asked me.
And I appreciate your long-windedness. It shows that you're a politician at heart. Ladies and gentlemen, we come back.
Take a deep breath after that.
That's amazing. You can do that without taking a single breath. We have with us John Scott, the president and CEO of InitLive.tv, and Chris Arps, a co-founder of MoveOnUp.org, president and CEO of MoveOnUpToday.tv. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to have a big special announcement regarding the Exceptional Conservative Network and these two great guys, and where the future of conservative news, talk, whether it's sports, whatever it is going. We'll be right back right after these blessed messages. I ask the gentleman to please go to mute. We'll be right back.
From day's first light to night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
From the warfront to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
I'm David Longoria, trumpeter and singer. Join me Saturday, May 20th as we celebrate the 19th annual White House Day of Prayer. We will join together for prayer and uplifting and leave our politics behind. There will be leaders from across the country as well as artists singing and praying together for our people, our nation, and our leaders. I will be joined by a 1,000 voices choir as we perform my new song of unity, We Are One. Come to the White House lawn in the Ellipse Park, Saturday, May 20th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Register now online for free at whitehouseprayer.org.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me, Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Tune in and let's get the talking started.
There we go. And I think we started talking tonight. That's Perry Drake. You should tune in tomorrow morning and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, that is, for the Drive-By Pundit Show, hosted by Perry Drake out of the great city of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to know, if you're tuning in tonight to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital, we certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the socialist. I want y'all to know something. Christopher Arps and I were conservatives long before it wasn't cool. Just want to let y'all know that. And any rumors that when Star Parker walked into the room in St. Louis that I screamed like a little girl who was a cheerleader are absolute lies. I don't know what they're talking about.
I think we got it on video.
Star Parker!
Yeah, I think it's on video, brother. We got it.
John Scott, President and CEO of EnidLive.tv, is with us tonight. You can go to Facebook.com for EnidLive.tv. Christopher Arps, co-founder of MoveOnUp.org, President and CEO of MoveOnUpToday.tv. You can go to LinkedIn.com for Chris Arps, or you can go to Facebook, or actually just talk with his butler when you call his. So, I would say.
Are you listening?
And quite frankly,
last week.
So, gentlemen, first and foremost, want to make this huge announcement here, and I want everyone listening to know exactly why I'm making this announcement. The Exceptional Conservative Show and the Exceptional Conservative Network will be moving to EnidLive.tv on the first Sunday in July 2017. That would be July 2nd. The first show that will premiere on that network will be an American Conservatives Exploration of the Inspired Word of God, as the founder, chairman, and president of this particular wonderful network, which is inclusive of a multitude of shows that SHR Live allows us to use their vessel to produce live, and as well the wonderful Red Nation Rising on the Liberty Channel, 2 a.m. Thank y'all so much. And as well, we use Ustream and Livestream. A lot of this will be put behind us in July, and we will be making the transition to satellite TV. And the reason is that it's because of conservatives like Chris Arps, likened unto Shannon Wright, and congratulations to you all, Shannon. There were more black conservatives at the Maryland GOP Spring Convention from Baltimore City than any other county in the state of Maryland. That's just telling you something. We are winning the war in the inner city, and this is the next leg up to doing it. I want to thank you two for allowing us to make that particular move in July. Now, first and foremost, Chris, Why did you choose satellite TV? I mean, because you're already a rock star in politics. Why satellite TV, man?
Well, I want to be specific. It is satellite television that is on a internet platform.
Yep.
Uh, I am part of a dear friend of ours who we both met in St. Louis, started a Black conservative listserv, and there are a lot of prominent Black conservatives on the website, columnists, people that you hear on the radio, see on television, and with this latest Fox News scandal with the sexual harassment lawsuit, and now there's been a lawsuit about racial discrimination. A lot of talk on the listserv was about how there was a lack of African American conservative voices on Fox News, a station that is supposed to be conservative, a station that's about equal opportunity. And so that's happening, coinciding with John and I starting this network, kind of was a sign to us that we're on the right path of doing this. John's network, ENET Live, is on the cusp of a revolution of how we view our TV and our viewing.
Yeah.
Everything is on demand. Everything that we watch now is either going to be on our tablets or on our phones. And ENET is a perfect platform for that. We're very excited about having DCN join Move On Up Today network. I mean, this is not just going to be a political network, a political show, but there's also going to be spiritual programs, as you were saying.
Yeah.
We're talking to some other folks about having financial literacy classes on how to pay off your mortgage in a short period of time. The things about godly principles of saving, investing money. So we're looking to be an alternative. I think the internet is the cost effective and the broadest way that we can do that. And I think I can speak for John by saying that we're very excited and looking forward to partnering with you guys in July. And I hope everyone out there will tune in and listen and support what we're doing and let America and people know that there are Black conservative voices out there, and we're going to be heard.
Exactly. John, Enid Live, what is that all about? I mean, don't you know Facebook has already conquered internet TV? I mean, you shouldn't even be doing this, right?
Yeah, man, if I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me. So let me back up on a couple things. One, I get asked a lot, when we have partners and we have clients, organizations, and I want to make sure that the world knows that this is a partner. You find somebody, and every now and then in life you come across a person like this. You find them, you see that they're intelligent, but they're also stern, and they have a direction, and they have that why. When they find that why, and they have that cause, and they want to go out and tackle that, and everybody else get out of their way. You want to partner with a guy like that, and that's why I wanted to reach out with Chris, because he has that drive and he has that direction, and you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
And so, in partnering with Chris and what we've already built, ENET, our tagline is where the world comes to watch. We want people to realize that there are other options out there. Yes, and Netflix and Facebook and YouTube, they're giants and they have their own market. That's great. But what we do is we work with our partners and our clients, and we teach them how to broadcast, or we broadcast for them. We have a full in-house, actually multiple full in-house customers. But we want to take organizations that have this need to be able to reach a bigger audience without having to jump through a bunch of hoops and limitations and bandwidth issues and all of that. We want to teach them not only how to broadcast and how to reach the world, we want to teach them how to create positive income while they do it. So what we always say is, and I'm starting to get long-winded here.
No.
But, we always tell people that we teach them how to broadcast. We allow them to broadcast what, when, and where they want, and they can make money while they do it. Out of the 78 cable channels that we have on with us at ENETLive.tv, every single one of them either makes money or has the opportunity. The only ones that don't are our churches, which it's more of a donation type thing there. So that's just kind of ENET, the clip notes, if you will.
Exactly.
And if I could just,
go ahead.
and if I could just say this, just to reiterate where John is on the cusp, and this is the future. I sent an article a few weeks back how Netflix is looking to start television networks and buy television networks in the future for original programming. And one startling statistic that just blows my mind is that I think it was a couple of years ago that internet overtook television when it came to advertising. There are more advertising dollars spent on the internet than there are on television ads. So that just tells you where the future is where television viewing is going. And I think what we're doing, all three of us and other partners, is going to take advantage of that.
Exactly. I think it's a tremendous thing that's happening here. For those who have been in this particular industry for a long time. Now, I just want to ask Chris, you in this regard, your reaction to what I'm about to say. And you and I have both been on the front lines for a long time. But last week, someone sent something to me in my inbox on Facebook, and it was a picture of 9 white men and women. And the statement was, which one of these 3 would you want to be on your debate team? There were no blacks, there were no Asians, there were no Hispanics. You had Hannity, you had Rush Limbaugh, you had all these. But wait a minute. We've been on the front lines here. We've been fighting the good fight. And not Thomas Sowell up there, not Walter Williams, not a single. So we're missing an action when it comes to being seen in urban America. Am I right on that?
I agree with that. And, as to say, I'm not going to totally say that, Fox News or the other cable outlets is blocking African American voices. I'm sure that is a part of it. But, also you have to look at it that there's only so many of those slots to go around for having an African American voice or a representative. And, there's just so many spots, and there's a lot of people that want those spots. So because we're conservative and we're entrepreneurs, I think, this opens up just an opportunity. I think there's a thirst for other black conservatives and people that are exploring to see other voices, to see other people around the country. I mean, you've got a whole host and range of hosts, and, there's got to be somebody that each one of those 14 people appeal to. One person, their message may not appeal to them, but to another person, it could. So, that broad range of voices, I think, is what's needed to expand the black conservative movement.
John, you're working with Chris in terms of putting Enid Live together and expanding it and growing it. Listen, this has got to be one of the most difficult things for a subscriber to be a part of. I mean, you probably have to jump through hoops and put all types of codes and all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to give you the next 3 hours to explain to us exactly how complex this is. Go right ahead.
Oh my goodness! I tell you what, the network that we have built from scratch is in its 4th generation, and I'm never happy with it from a business standpoint in the back end, and a couple of the coding guys that we have. But we do use state-of-the-art coding. We have state-of-the-art folks that work with us and that we partner with. And yes, the subscription side and that particular piece is extraordinarily complex, but we need to have it that way for security and so many other reasons. But the reason why the subscription piece is important is because a subscriber to ENET Live, one particular channel, is a subscriber to all of the other channels. So everybody gets to enjoy either, when it's free content, premium content, video on demand, or live, those subscribers cross through all of the other pieces. And one of the great things about that, and one of the extra benefits that you get and other organizations get, is this not only this platform where you can tell other people about it, but unlike anybody else on earth, we tell other people about it. Let me give you one real quick example. This last weekend, I was on the air doing our final professional racquetball event of the year in Sarasota, Florida. When we go to commercial, we'll be right back in just a moment. We can play and will air commercials about your program and about your advertisers that take place, so other people's subscribers and other people's members are getting they're able to see that at no extra charge. And so one of the great things that you get with that subscriber piece and with that channel, the rest of the world and other pockets and other organizations and the other niche folks, if you will, they get exposure to what you guys are doing as well. And that's how we build a network, and that's how we cross-promote all of the folks that we work with.
Listen,
How many impressions are you guaranteeing?
yeah.
Viewers? Well, for example, Ken, in your show alone, now this is not just your advertisers, I'm talking people outside of your market already. There will be over 1 million impressions for yourself a month, every month, month after month, and your show and your message and your meaning, it's going to get out to folks that, frankly, a lot of people can't even afford or know exist. And, when Chris is talking about that come out of the closet idea, there are so many people that need to hear your message that you may not be reaching, and we can help turn them onto that. And you yourself and the other organizations all are able to capitalize off of that while we work together as a big network.
Now, I have to ask you, do I have to dress nicely? Do I have to actually bathe before I come on the air or something? I mean, it's just TV.
Well, unlike Chris, you do have a face for radio. And John's very modest. He didn't tell everybody that he does bikini beach volleyball that he dresses up in and actually participates. So that's one of the extra premium channels that everyone gets. For the record, it's just normal pro beach volleyball. But yeah, sure, and interestingly enough, that's the one that Chris always puts in. He wants to be a videographer.
So I guess
cause you go braless.
That's right. Late night fun. Listen, we're talking with John Scott, who is the president and CEO of ENITLive.tv, and as well Chris Arps, the president and CEO of Move On Up Today.tv. Listen, we are the Exceptional Conservative Network, joining in partnership with Move On Up Today.tv. And we will be broadcasting from now on, July 2nd, Sunday, July 2nd. And we will also have a broadcast live from Freedom Fest in the middle of July, working with Enid Live. This is huge, folks. Absolutely huge. We will be touching people who have never ever heard of us and didn't know that we existed. You go right ahead.
Yeah, I got a question. Give us, I don't know if this is something you've never talked about. Give us a range. I don't know if you can name them all off the top of your head. A range of the hosts that you have, names that you can, and cities that they're broadcasting out.
Oh my goodness. We have a tremendous group of artists, beginning with our cornerstone shows, the drive time shows from 7 to 9 in the morning with Pastor Shannon Wright and her husband Michael Wright, The Right Way. Willie Lawson follows them at 9 a.m.
I love Willie.
Yep, Eastern time. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we have the lovely Black Diva. Wait a minute, Business Diva. There we go, Business Diva. Melanie Collette. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, the lovely Perry Drake of Drive By Pundit. You have on the afternoon drive time, the right guy, Ralph J. Chittum Sr. You have my show, which is late night. It's the #1 show on my own network, at least for right now. The #1 show as well on SHR Media. And Ron Edwards will be doing our programming. On Friday mornings, from 7 to 9 on Fridays. And there are a host of others. In fact, tonight I want to make the announcement that effective Friday, May the 26th at 9 p.m., I will be doing a new show with Pastor Donovan Larkins called Nation Watch, in which we will make a very proactive attempt to find criminals involved in unresolved homicides, missing persons, and human sex trafficking in urban America. And if I missed anybody, if I skipped anybody, it's because of my brain cells. But we're growing by leaps and bounds, and we are looking to add more and more shows to our network. The great thing I love about, in fact, I have to go to a break right now. When I come back from the break, I want to tell you the great thing I really love about the fact that I got the chance to talk with you too. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. Go to mute, gentlemen. We will be back in about 4 minutes.
It's Jersey Joe, the dreamer, common sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution. Do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity, moral clarity. Thank you.
The election of Donald J. Trump was an amazing victory, but that was just the beginning. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, America the Beautiful has been under a horrendously ugly progressive-leaning attack for decades. The effort to turn the United States into a socialist, progressive hellhole is a non-stop effort. Thus, it is more imperative than ever to not sit on our laurels and allow the progressives to continue to destroy the United States through the indoctrination of our republic's student population, in the classroom or even in progressive-oriented churches. For what is taught to one generation dictates the direction the nation takes in the next. The Dow will soon take on the monumental task of dealing with the restoration of the economy, religious liberty, our borders, the protection of the unborn, etc., etc. The progressives are going through stages of grief as they try to bring about unrest, but will ultimately fail. Enjoy the victory, America, but keep up the fight against those who long to destroy your republic. God bless you, God bless America, and may America bless God.
Happy days are here. Oh, yeah.
I'm Ron Edwards.
The greatest advertisers in all of the world are on the Exceptional Conservative Show and the Exceptional Conservative Network. Buy their products and share their good news. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. We'll be back after these messages.
Hello, this is Leslie Ann Silky with the Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's the Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live on the Exceptional Conservative Network. I want to thank SHR Media and also Red Nation Rising for carrying us live on their networks. Ustream and live stream. I want to let you all know that it's going to be such a great joy to be able to have Leslie Stoffel on live from Jerusalem in the months of June and July, and she will also be a part of that. The Real Clear Israel. Want to also, if I miss the Edwards Notebook, you got a chance to listen to why we are the best in urban conservative talk. With that, so I want to say that I want to really thank, and I mean this from the depths of my heart. God hears my prayers. I want to thank you two for giving us the opportunity. John Scott from Enid Live TV, and Chris Arps for Move On Up Today.tv. I want to thank you all because I know how hard these people work. I really do. I know the sacrifices they've made. I know the friends that they've lost, the families that they've lost. I know that they sometimes can't go to events or because they're going to be ridiculed. I know for a fact of all the wealth that they've given up for the good of liberating urban America. And finally, there is an opportunity for us to break through the confines of having to stay up 8 hours of the night trying to get on Facebook and Google Plus and all these other places. And now we can go directly to, just like President Trump goes to the media with Twitter, we're able to go directly to the people so that they're able to be refreshed and renewed. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much. If you would, in finality here, John, can you tell us your hopes and aspirations for Enid Live? And then, Chris, I want you to do the very same thing for Move On Up.
Yeah, actually, I will, and I'll try not to get too deep. But there's an old African proverb, actually, and I'm just going to paraphrase it. But it says, "One stick is easily broken, but when bundled together, they endure forever." And that's one of the things that I try to build. When I used to work in corporate life, I absolutely hated being a number on a piece of paper and an asset or a liability, and I was expendable, and someone in an office from somewhere else that will never know me. Dictated essentially our life. And I always said I wanted to be able to build a company that put together other folks that wanted to partner and change the world. I feel like we all work against each other for ultimately the same common goal. And I hate seeing that division. And so what I wanted to do is create a company that wanted to teach people how to broadcast ourselves, build organizations that are good, wholesome organizations. Again, I'm telling you, when you find people like you that have that real joy of the Lord and you just hear it every time you talk with them, then that's somebody that I want to do business with. Because if we stick together in this endeavor of life and business, we can actually change the world for the better. And that's ultimately where we want to go in business and in life.
Exactly. Chris, Move On Up. God bless you, Chris, because you took the baton from a friend and you built a vessel by which all of us, and I'm going to let you know, man, they give away Oscars and Nobels and things like that, but it's grassroots people like you who really have changed the world. Chris, why move on up today.tv, and why should everybody in our chat roll and the tens of thousands who are listening to us tonight, why should they be ready to make the switch?
Well, I want to say first of all that John, you hit it right on the nail when you were talking about Ken's side and Ken's brother before. When I first met him, before I took the conference, we were talking. I just met him personally. But when I met him and his wife, we just instantly hit it off, and I was just a good brother with a good heart. But I knew somewhere down the line we were going to partnership on something big, and I think this is the opportunity. But why move on uptv.org, todaytv.org, as I said earlier, I think there are tons of African American conservative intellectuals that really know the message, have those values, that have their own audience, that I think they need to be shown to a broader audience across the country, across the world. And Berkeley, through the grace of God, connected up with John, and he has a beautiful that we can use to expand on what you're doing and hopefully expand the movement and show African Americans that they're not alone, that there's a ton of us that are conservatives, and that it's okay to come out the front.
You know, I think that right there is the thing I want to take from all of this. The sacrifices of every single, and there are some people here who would say, well, you know, I don't know what you all are talking about in terms of losing out and all that kind of stuff. The battle has been very harsh, but there is a little boy and a little girl who's looking at a Shannon Wright and a Melanie Collette and a Ron Edwards and a Ralph J. Chittum Sr., and they're saying, I want to have that kind of courage. And I want to be that kind of person, but people in my community just won't let me be. We get to go through the walls, the barriers, and tear them down so that our young people get a chance to understand what liberation is really all about, not through the eyes of the Black Lives Matters movement and not through the eyes of the propagandizers in the school classrooms, but they get to turn on this thing 24 hours a day. You get to have a mobile application 24 hours a day to this particular network. And I just want to ask you, John, as we leave out, because I know a lot of people are talking about, well, I spend $200-300 on my cable. I couldn't possibly afford to subscribe to your network. How much does it cost for someone to subscribe to InItLive.tv?
Well, let me first say that, I just want to echo both of what you guys are saying and just encourage anybody out there to realize that, it's not always popular to be different. It's always popular and march to the beat of your drum. Regardless if you're right or wrong, first, it's extraordinarily important in everything that we do. So to answer your question on the subscriber piece, it costs a whole whopping $9.99 a month. I know a lot of folks may think, well, I got to get my Starbucks coffee at MC Mocha tomorrow. The rainbow unicorn enchilada, whatever that thing is. Right? But seriously, though, there's only $9.99 a month. That supports us. That money supports you. And that money also supports our go-to nonprofit organization, which is Rafa House. Out of Missouri, they do the Lord's work, and a lot of the proceeds do make off of those things. So your subscription also doesn't just get to move on up to the network; you get every single premium access thing that we do, and we're just excited to be able to offer this as a service to you and to anybody else who's interested in owning their own television channel or network online.
There you go. Just that simple. You crush through Google Plus, you crush through Facebook, you go directly to the people. If we've learned anything over the past 5 to 18 months for Donald Trump is stop trying to go through all of the walls and go directly to the people. And they will hear you and they will reward you. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much for being on with me tonight. We're going to have you back on next month as we prepare to make that transition and change. I want to thank you also for agreeing to set up a studio for us at Freedom Fest. So now I got to get dressed. I used to do radio. Now I got to get dressed or whatever. My wife will have to make me bring suits. But I want to thank you all so much. God bless you all. I love you dearly, and we'll be talking very soon.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Now, listen, now I'm starting to get questions. There you go. Are you still using the Spreaker or are you using Skype? How do we know we are getting credit for the signups? You will know. The question for Melanie Collette is, how do you know that you get credit for the signups? It's because when they sign up and they leave their email addresses, they tell you exactly which is the premium channel that they will be going into. And so we get credits directly for that. All that we'll talk about in next month when they're here. But I want you all to remember, in fact, this is what I want you to do before we go to the break. Okay? I know what I just said to some of you all is heresy because you are so in love with everything that you are used to. I know these things. I can feel the floor beneath me. I'm okay. And I'm asking you to actually step out on faith. Don't believe me, believe God. Don't think that this is all impossible. Think that I have a God who makes the impossible possible. I'm asking you to step out there. And quite frankly, you will be well rewarded accordingly. I want you to make the switch. I want you to go to Twitter and I want you to go to Facebook and I want you to begin make the switch out there. You don't have to explain anything else, just make the switch. And what you're going to find, ladies and gentlemen, is there are a whole lot of people that have been waiting a long time for something like this. We'll be right back with more of the best in urban conservative talk. The dream deferred is real. You've been waiting for the Exceptional Conservative Network, and now it's here. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Tune in and get the best in urban conservative talk. Stop dreaming. It's real. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can sign up for free at enetlive.tv. But when we finally get started, which will be in about 30 days or so, when we finally get started, there will be a special section where you sign up for TECN and our network. And we will definitely get credit for all of those particular signups. It will be a subscriber station. And those that come with us will truly know what it's like to see God working in full in his glory. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not worthy. I just want to make it very plain. I'm not worthy. There's nothing in me that deserves to run a network that has a Ron Edwards and a Shannon Wright and a Michael Wright and as well to have a bouncer like Mary Brockman or to have Claudia Cheek coming to an event in January at the Trailblazers Award. There's nothing in me that's worthy of any of this. There's nothing in me that's worthy of having TECN.biz and watch it explode 400% in 1 month in terms of people that go to that particular domain page. 400%. There's nothing in me. God's using this to change and to liberate, and I'm asking you all, bear with my incompetence, bear with my humility, bear with my frailty, bear with God working with me to change the world. Get ready, get ready. You know how they always say at the church, and you got to start running around or whatever, but I'm telling you right now, get ready, get ready. We are going directly to the people. No more do we have to go through walls to get the people that we want. So there's so much I want to talk with you about in the final quarter of this hour, but I want to thank the good people at Red Nation Rising for being with us. We need to step away for a bit. I want you all to go to Freedom Fest. I want you to support Shekinah and support that endeavor. There's so much more. MBZ's coming up. We'll be right back. I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different, real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is a popular, liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement: Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Raleigh, Juan Pablo Andrande, and Zayad Abdullah. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there.
The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must warn you, because Dave Milner isn't here and Mamba isn't here, but they may be listening wherever they are in the world. And I fear litigation like I fear the plague. So I must advise you, gentlemen, please get your cigarettes, head towards the porch, and prepare to light them as we play this, one of our favorite commercials. It is the Business
You are
Diva.
listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join your business diva, Melanie Collette, as I speak with respected entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians as we explore today's fiscal environment. Money Talk with Melanie airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Remember, this is important because it's your money.
I see that we have gotten BZ in the mood. Apparently, he's lying down, relaxing, sipping some bourbon. We want to thank Melanie Collette for that commercial, as it brings ease to a lot. Join the many. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, live from Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, but it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the socialist. I want to announce to everyone that Mary Brockman, my bouncer, is in the chat roll this particular evening. If you diss her, you diss me, and you will be dismissed. I want to also let you all know that I'm expecting you all to be at Freedom Fest so that you all see me in suit and tie. Mary knows that I was not in suit and tie at all at, at the Freedom Fest that we took her to. And she'll also tell you that, quite frankly, I don't even think Sean was dressed most of the time. I think he came in a toga or something for Freedom Fest, and so did Clint. BZ was the only gentleman there because the professor and I definitely weren't. So I must say, you guys need to come out there as we have our own studio. There will be carried live on satellite the entire Freedom Fest event. We're working that particular thing up. And quite frankly, we want to thank Enid Live and Move On Up Today.tv for making that possible. Listen, big and great things, mighty things are coming to pass at the Exceptional Conservative Show. And I just want those people, and Mary knows I don't have a very long memory. Yeah, I know Mary. He was very casual. Yeah, this year we got a dress now because we're going to be on TV. But I want you all to know I don't keep a very long memory. Melanie, who's the vice president, will tell you I don't have a very long memory. And Dan the Man Butcher's here. God bless you. So glad to have you here, and your lovely wife who does all the hard work, Jane. I want y'all to know that I really appreciate each and every one of you. But I also want to say this to all of you rock stars out there who thought that TECN was a bad idea, you could make it on your own. Trust me, I will not remember that. Wink, wink. And quite frankly, I'm very proud to be able to say that Shannon and Mike were the first persons to say yay to do it. Well, actually, Ralph and Lonnie were the first people to say yay with the afternoon drive time show, and they came on board with the morning drive time show. And quite frankly, I am ever so thankful for them stepping forward. I pray that those who are listening to me, who are part of the network, some of you might feel that you're comfortable where you are, and I understand that. I was very comfortable where I was all of 9 years ago, when I was quietly sitting in a church, listening to people put down Bush and being conservative and Republicans, while endorsing abortion, drugs, alcoholism, homosexuality. Yeah, I was comfortable. But God makes us very uncomfortable when he's ready to use us. So I know what this is going to put on many of you all. Many of you all will become the face of the conservative movement. And I know how challenging that is. I tell many people that I really don't have a private life anymore. It's very public. With the death of my daughter, Shanice Milton, and then just this particular gig. But God's asking each and one of you Marines to make a decision. You can hide behind the microphone. I don't, because I'm on Ustream and live stream. But you can hide behind the microphone, and you may reach a few. But God has now given us the ability to reach millions. So you have to make a decision. Sure, there will always be SHR media. I want to talk to my people who are in the chat room who are listening tonight. There will always be SHR media. Always. With Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, BZ, Sacco, Reverb Common Sense, Jersey Joe, the Unpleasant Blind Guy, Damon. Trust me, there will always be that. But sometimes, and I've spoken with Sean, so I want y'all to know that this ain't nothing but, this ain't the opportunity to goosop. Sometimes you got to make decisions that will positively impact everything that you do and everyone around you. While there is a crumbling of quote-unquote conservative news at Fox, there's a rising of real conservative news on TECN. So all I got to say is, it's okay if you stay behind. It is. It's not like you're losing anything. And a lot of people would instantly go to this scripture where it says, what is the value of gaining the world if you lose your own soul? What if I told you you didn't have to lose your soul and you can still gain the world? In fact, the world would gain because you didn't lose your soul. And your soul wasn't based on the color of your skin, but the content of your character and your relationship with Jesus Christ. What if I told you that a black man coming up on the streets of St. Louis and a black man growing up on the streets of Washington, D.C. could come together and be used by God to create a satellite TV network for internet radio, well, for internet coverage? What if I told you that that thing would reach millions of people, not just in the United States, but around the world? What if I told you that God's ready for you to step out of the shuttle and onto the moon? What I'm saying to you is very scary. We like to envision ourselves on the curvy couch. And BZ, I'll be coming to you after the commercial break, but I got to talk to my people right here for the next 5, if you don't mind, BZ. I love you, man. I know what you do. Let me explain to you something. I just want to make this public, just in case there's any future litigation. And not that I'm expecting it, but I just got to prepare accordingly. When I started the Exceptional Conservative Show, I was a member of the American Conservative Party. I had gotten tired of DC politics. Ralph J. Cheatham kept telling me, join the Republican Party of DC. We could change the Republican Party of DC. And God was telling me, you're not going to change them by being there. You got to change the world from being where I want you to be. And I never felt comfortable, I went to a meeting. Listen, I signed up to be a Republican in DC. And they were pro-homosexuality, anti-God. They were pretty much the Democrat Party. And I knew, I was like, Ralph, you don't understand. We got to create our own conservative party. And Ralph was like, nah, we got to stay in here, man. We got to fight this fight. And I was like, Ralph, I can't do it with you. And I'm telling you all something, that really hurt me. On that day that I had to tell my good friend Ralph J. Chittum Sr., I can't be with you in the GOP. I'll remain a Republican and vote, but I can't do that. And God was like, Ken, I need for you to talk with Butch Porter. And I joined the American Conservative Party in August of 2010. And we had great conversations. I became their treasurer, and we talked about how a new party was needed. At the time, there was a Tea Party movement that was growing, but we were talking about after the Tea Party dies, there's got to be something more. We got to do a conservative party. And it can't be like a libertarian thing. It's got to be a conservative party. And then I joined, and a few months later, Butch said, listen, Ken, we know that you like to hide. We know that you like to stay behind the scenes and don't put your face out there, but you do a lot of things. We just want you to come on the air with us a couple of times so that we can begin reaching out. And they invited me on their radio show, AC Nation. And not only was I well received the first couple of weeks I was on, the demand grew where they said, Ken, you got to start your own show. So February 28, 2011, I started my own show. It was a Monday night. And Mike Williams down in Texas was supposed to come on my program. And I had been talking with Mike and saying, as urban conservatives, black conservatives, we need to be able to reach out and we need to reach people. And I really need you on my program. I know you're running for Texas Railroad Commission. And he was like, yeah, I'll be there. I understand how important this is. And he didn't show up. But God did. And I explained to them on my network, on my show that night, that this was a gift from God and it was going to be worked for the good of God. I did 4 successive shows, and by the 5th or 6th show, I was already at the point where ain't nobody listening to me. I don't know if any of you all out there have ever been a point in radio where you thought the only person listening to me is my microphone because ain't nobody else out there. And then Mary Brockman came to my life on the night that I was ready to call it quits. And Mary said, don't you dare do it. Don't you do it. I'll be with you. And I will bring others. And Mary became my Peter. She became the first. And Mary began bringing people like Ag and Brian and all the others, Doc and so many others, to the show to listen. And we grew. We grew from 1 night to 4 nights. Weekly. And when I come back, I want to tell you, and then we'll bring BZ on, I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that what God is asking us to do is incredible when you look at where we've been as a network. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network on the Exceptional Conservative Show. We will be right back. The best late night conservative talk show in America, TECS Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clanton. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late night conservative talk, TECS Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson on the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's the Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe, the dreamer, common sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution. Do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity, moral clarity. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donovan Larkins, founder and president of Shekinah Ranch Youth Foundation, offers a sincere opportunity for you to protect children from molestation and sexual abuse and help abused children receive their healing. In addition, Pastor Larkins is joining forces with the Exceptional Conservative Network to raise awareness of the growing crisis of unresolved homicides, missing persons, and sex trafficking in urban America. Help us raise $10,000 to care for over 300 abused children at Shekinah Ranch this summer and put an end to the grief and unnecessary loss of life of unresolved homicides, missing persons, and sex trafficking. Go to the TECN homepage at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com and donate today. BZ, bear with me because I need to tell this story. I need to talk to my people tonight. Bear with me. I will bring you on, BZ. You know I love you. I will be on the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon tomorrow night at 11 p.m. and we will talk in great magnitude. Bear with me, BZ, but I need to talk to my peeps. I want to fast forward because I don't have time for the whole story, but when Mary came to my support, I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I literally was still ready to go. And at that time, being in a black church, coming out against Obama, I want you all to know I can preach. God anointed me at 5 years old to read the King James Bible and preach from it with great understanding. I can preach. But as I became more and more uncomfortable with being comfortable in Christ and stepping forward and being unashamed of the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ and the good news of conservative, when I began to step forward, things began to happen. And I just want y'all to know, everything in church ain't Christian. And when you begin to have more people listening to you on a nightly basis than your pastor has sitting in his pews, things get kind of uncomfortable. And when I decided on a Friday morning to start doing an American Conservatives exploration of the inspired Word of God and still getting to work on time with people listening around the world, things get uncomfortable all of a sudden. You move from being a primary preacher to being the one who does the 8th Sunday in December preaching. You don't get picked anymore. And then all of a sudden, your wife. So, and I want to say tonight, Mrs. Biggs, I love you. What you have put up with being married to me, and that you still love God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your strength and with all of your mind, you are an amazing woman. And I defy any to compare to you. But you saw what they were doing to you and to me and eventually to our children, and moving us in their own. It happens. I don't have to lie to you. It happens. Going on every night. People trying to extend the Bible study so that you would be late getting to your show. It happens, people. I'm not conspiratorial. I am telling you it happens. Spirit don't move like that week after week after week after week. It don't. To be told in a pastoral meeting that you only have one choice, kid, and that is to turn over your show to the church. Y'all don't hear me. To be told that the dream that you have, the dream has to be not only deferred, but it's got to be destroyed because you're bad news. I'm talking to that 8-year-old boy right now who's wearing a necktie and a blazer to school, who's just like me, but didn't have someone like me to talk to him. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me when I say that our show has been inspirational and that it has affected and impacted more races than you know. Y'all don't know. When I come on the air and I tell you that Fox News listens to this show and then they do the next day, y'all don't know. See, y'all still, some of you are still in plantation mode. I'll say it. I'll take the risk. You're afraid of saying anything against something because it's the thing that everybody does. But I want you to know something. If you follow me, as I follow Christ, you would never be comfortable. Because I was never comfortable. I've never been comfortable as a conservative black man in urban America. Talk about driving while black. How about thinking while Christ? Do you know what it's like to be gifted and anointed and then someone tear you down right before your wife's eyes during a sermon for 35 consecutive minutes, and you have to sit there while the person stands in your face and preaches the gospel of their own opinion to you, blaming you for the sinful nature of mankind? Do you know? My daughter died. She didn't die, she was killed. And all the time that government officials said they were working with me, they were really working against me. I know y'all don't want to hear this because I'm stepping on toes. And I know the story I'm about to tell you. You don't want to hear it, really. You're comfortable. But I want you to know, if you follow me, you won't be comfortable. The people that followed Moses were not comfortable. The people that followed Jesus were not comfortable. I know you want me to calm down, but I'm speaking to your spirit right now. I lost my other daughter on the same night because she chose a lifestyle that was different from our own. In one night, Satan took everything that I had from me. My wife gave me this award. It's a picture of you probably can't see it all that well, but it's a picture of my two daughters, who I love so dearly. I've always loved my daughters. I always told my wife that I was a better father than I was a husband. All the while, government officials were meeting with individuals who may have been a part of the murders to try to build a bike park for them as an appeasement to keep crime down. And then to invite, a couple of years later, as we tried to deal with the loss of our daughter, went to an affair at the Infused restaurant, and I love Christine and Derek Williams, and they don't know this. But I got up and I spoke. And I spoke about how my good friend, Pastor Garfield Williams, stood by me from the moment my daughter died. He kept me from going into the sea. Y'all don't know. I'm a nice man. I'm a kind man. I'm a gentle man. But that wasn't by birth. That was by force of parent and love of wife and children and of God. You got me wrong in your thinking, and I need to correct it sometimes. On that particular night, I wanted to take the law into my own hands and go find them myself, but it was Pastor Garfield, my brother in Christ, who stayed with me through the early morning when all was breaking out against me. It was he who stayed by my side and kept me in, refused to leave the home. You don't know what it's like being a black conservative in urban America yet. My boy on that night put his relationship in challenge. PG, I love you, man. I know I don't have as much time to spend with you as I used to, and I'm so sorry about that. And we do need to have our deli sandwich up and be more. You know what I'm talking about. But to invite a few people to an event at Infused Restaurant to celebrate our daughter, and I say some kind words about my boy PG. This is while my wife is away at vacation. You see, I've already been thrown out of a black church. I got experience. I got medals. I got thrown out of a black church because I stood up against marrying homosexuals before it became legal. Y'all don't hear me. And I remember the staircase scene, and the pastor told me, where can you go, Ken, that people would hear you? Where can you go where you would not have all of this? All of what? All of what? My Father, who has a cattle on 1,000 hills. The silver is his, the gold is his. He is the creator of heaven and earth. Do you believe that all of the universe is in your one church? And that you are dominion over me? I refuse to support homosexuals. And I refuse to support homosexual marriage. And I refuse to support a church that would do something as illicit and as illegal as that. I've been thrown out of black churches before. It's a medal to me. To be told, however, after trying to celebrate your daughter's death at an event that these individuals were not invited to, they came anyway. And to be told, we were embarrassed by what you said. And so as a result of what you said, you want to know what free speech is? Free speech is being able to say, I love God with all my heart and not have to worry about the consequences thereof. To be told while your wife is on vacation, you are no longer welcome in this church and you are no welcome on this job. You see, you can't have a church job and not go to the church. Y'all don't know what black America is like. It's the hood sometimes in the hood. In places you don't expect it. God said, keep going, bro. When they close one door, I'm about to open another one for you, and it will be grander than they've ever known. You see, they threw away the opportunity to know me. I want y'all to know, some of you all who are listening tonight, who are in the chat row, have been in this experience where someone has thrown you away like a piece of trash. Your life to them was no greater than this piece of paper. You're nothing to us. You are worthless to us. Everything you believe in is a curse to us. You will be a curse to your family. You will be a curse to your friends. You will. Wait a minute. That ain't even in Deuteronomy, is it? Oh, yeah, wait a minute. And they throw you away. Because you say that abortion's wrong. You say gay marriage is wrong. You say Christ is right. For Christ I live, for Christ I die. I do it all the day long, 24/7, not just when it's convenient. Whoa. You can't say that. You can't say that. You pastor, he going against the Democrat Party. You can't say that. To be fired. And then have to pick your wife up at the airport to let her know, baby, I just sent you on a very expensive cruise because I love you, but I'm not working there no more. Well, baby, we'll talk to the pastor on Sunday. No, honey, you don't understand. You married a black conservative. You are not welcomed here. You are a Jew in Syria. You are a woman in Saudi Arabia. You are not welcome. If you ever want to know if Jesus' story at birth is true, that they couldn't find a place for him, be a black conservative in America. Be somebody who is willing to stand up in front of the Planned Parenthood clinic and say, you know what? God gave you that gift. He wants you to keep that gift. He wants you to love that gift with all your might. And trust me, if he gave it to you, he can provide for you. You don't have to worry about loving up on somebody who only wanted to hit it, quit it, and gone. God's got it. He really loves you. No. It's easier to keep you on the opposite side of the street and then call you an Uncle Tom because you love the Lord. Mary's asking, is Mrs. Biggs without a church? Mrs. Biggs goes to a church. I don't. My Bible study serves as my church. I want you to know, if you follow me, I'm going to ask you to do things that are going to make you uncomfortable. Going to a satellite network is the most challenging thing that you'll ever have to do right now. I'm comfortable with radio. I mean, I am well noted. People tell me that I'm kind of infamous, even. I want y'all to know something. The most dangerous thing that you'll ever have to do is follow Christ. The second most dangerous thing that you'll ever have to do is to follow me. I thank Mary Brockman. I love you with all of my heart, because you were there for me when those with PhDs and seminary degrees and all those other degrees weren't. And now we have an opportunity to touch the lives of millions around the world. Do you really expect me to stay on this side of Jordan because I fear what's on the other side? You may count giants, but I count victories. What God's ready to do with us and will continue to do with us is change the culture of the world. When I come back, I want to close out and let you know exactly what a new day will be like in black and red. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We'll be right back.
There are only two things you should be doing weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and one of them is legal in 58 states. So do the other one. Listen live to the Exceptional Conservative Show with Ken McClinton, Monday through Wednesday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time on SHR Media and at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. The Exceptional Conservative Show, bringing the sexy back to late night conservative talk.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, conservative by choice. It's Reverend Ralph Chittum's The Right Guy on the Exceptional Conservative Network from 4:05 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The Right Guy on TECN. Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join the business diva and her esteemed guest, comprised of entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians, as they explore the topics of the day. That's Money Talk with Melanie, here on TECN, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You're listening to the most influential urban conservative talk show in all of the world. Christianity, conservatism, the Constitution, capitalism. We talk about it all right here on the Exceptional Conservative Show at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Go there now and join me in chat. We're spreading the good news to the ends of the earth. We'll be back right after these messages. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show. This Monday night is not anything that I had planned, and apparently there are problems with SHR. No, there are no problems with it. It's still carrying live. Okay. I want you to know what God's done in a short span of time. And then I'm going to get out of y'all way because you really need it. I'm sorry, Mary. I'm sorry. When we go to satellite TV, we won't have any of those issues, right? There we go. In November, the Lord came to me and told me, Ken, it's time to start your own network. I want y'all to know something. It ain't easy being a white conservative in Washington, D.C. trying to find employment, trying to be a black conservative. Not the easiest thing to do. I hadn't made a single dime off of my radio work between 2011 and even to today. Not a single dime. And I want y'all to know that could be problematic in a marriage. Can I just be real with y'all tonight? I want to be real with y'all tonight. Y'all get to see the real Ken McClinton. You see, my wife long had been missing the church. She got thrown out of 2 churches because she had been with her husband. And I want y'all to know, when you grow up, I grew up in a Baptist environment. Baptist born, Baptist, and I'm not going to be like that. Trust me, I'm not like that at all. But 3 slow songs, 2 fast songs, and marching down the aisle with in step. Oh, you got that step going down the aisle. Oh, yeah. Oh, y'all want to know where all the good steps come from for the club? They came from church. You watch Sister Delphine do her wave thing on Sunday morning to the Lord, and then you took that to the club, and you were like, oh my God, that worked. That worked. I grew up in that same atmosphere, but my mindset was more towards the logos. And I could be alone in my studies. I didn't necessarily have to be with anyone. I took that. It was some type of behavioral test that they give you in employment with a LMJT, something other, all that kind of stuff. And they said at one of these jobs that I had tested, they said, this is amazing. You're the first person that we ever tested was right in the middle. That means that you're okay by yourself or with others. You're fine. So being thrown out of a church doesn't hurt me the way that it hurt my wife. And they did it purposely to psychologically hurt my wife. She had been missing that. And she needed a church home. She found one And I'm glad she goes to church. She's okay. She's fine. But ladies and gentlemen, she's married to a brother who's been unemployed, no money coming in, thrown out about a black church. Psychologically, that could do something to a black marriage. Don't you know that one of the major causes of black marriages being broken up is in the church? Y'all don't hear me. I know you don't. I know you don't want to hear me. Because you got one rooster who wants to rule over, and he ain't gonna have no more roosters. Y'all don't know. Y'all just don't know this stuff. And so I go to my wife and I say, honey, the Lord's telling me that I need to do a radio network. Black woman, white woman, Hispanic woman, Asian woman, it don't matter. In your flesh, the first thing you're thinking about is go out and get a goddamn job, Negro. You spending money, you going places, you're trying to spread this conservatism stuff, and nobody wants that in urban America. Don't y'all know that Job's wife really didn't want him or her to suffer anymore? That's why she said, curse God and die. My wife was tired of suffering. She had lost her family because she married a black conservative. She had lost her 2 churches, even her home church, because she had married a black conservative. She had lost her daughter and another daughter. She was tired and broken in spirit. And now you're going to come to me and say, you want to do what? And yet, that woman never said anything but go to it. So in November of last year, I started the Exceptional Conservative Network. And I asked Lonnie and Ralph to join me on the network if they would do a morning show. If y'all know the truth about Lonnie, Lonnie is like me. Lonnie will be up until like 4 in the morning. Y'all think he's such a choir boy. He'll be up until 4 o'clock in the morning like me and then go to bed. All right? And when he go to bed, he ain't waking up until showtime. You know what I'm saying? And Lonnie said, I can't do morning, but I'll do afternoon. And Lonnie and Ralph were the first to say, yeah, we'll do this on your net. We'll do a drive time show. Shannon and Mike came right after them and said, yeah, we'll do. And if you know Shannon, you have to know Shannon. If you don't say no to Shannon, you just, I don't know what the power, that gift that God gave her before she left heaven, but I don't think anybody's ever said no to Shannon. You can't say no to Shannon. No matter how hard you try, you just, oh, yes, okay. She came on. They decided, Shannon and Mike, to do the morning show. And then I had to get my friend Willie. Willie, who had a severe heart attack. Heart attack. And he had been missing in action for a while. His voice is one of the most powerful voices I've ever heard in conservative talk. And he's been doing the groundwork longer than many of us have even started the grass growing. And I had to have Willie come on. And I kept pestering Willie over and over. And I said, Willie, I won't do this network unless you come on. Willie said yes. Melanie came behind her. And on and on. And we have grown. And since November, we have grown And the number of shows that we have grown in notoriety. We've grown in respect. In fact, I will be this week at a very special private event with the United States Association of Veterans. I want to thank you all so much for inviting me. It's an honor. But we are being recognized around the world. We're not just a ragtag bunch of folk who are doing a radio program as a hobby. We're talking about professional researchers. We're talking about people at the height of their gifts and abilities. And all of them said yes to doing radio. But you see, it's different when you're behind this. It's very different. It's much more different than when you're in front of a camera. My wife loves me dearly. And she's put up with me going on 8 years now doing this without a single dime being made. The loss of 2 daughters, the loss of 2 churches, the loss of family and friends. And then the thinning of a relationship. When you take people to breakfast and you don't even know how you're going to pay the light bills, and you got to explain to your wife, honey, God wants us to do this. It takes a special kind of woman to love such a special needs man as me. In 6 months, we have grown from being one radio show on a radio network that was created to being weeks away from actually having our own satellite TV studio at Freedom Fest. Not bad for 6 months, huh? If you're listening tonight, you know my heart. You know what I'm asking you to do is to get uncomfortable. If you're ready, and if you're able, I want you to know something. My God is willing. If he's able to take a little man like me from Southeast Washington, D.C., to create a global network with TECN Sports with Willie Lawson, TECN.biz with Melanie Collette, TECN Talk and News with me, AC Nation News with Brandy Bohannon, and to put us on a satellite TV station, yeah, I'm asking you to be very uncomfortable. Jordan will always be there, but the promised land is on the other side. I'll be all right if you stay in Jordan, but I want you to follow me to the promised land. For all of you who listen tonight, I thank you. I want you to know that God will bless you accordingly. I also want you to understand this. God has blessed America. It is now time for America to bless God. Good night. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital out of Washington, D.C. Take it away, boys.